All right, we got some rule changes that impact the Texans. Interesting votes. I didn't really see this coming, but I always do say it. To quote Jerry Jones, just because I say it doesn't make it so. What is going on with the Houston Texans? Landry Locker, Cody Stutes with you. The Texans, apparently they took a loss today because they were one of 22 teams that voted to ban the Tush Push. And we've heard D'Amico in the past. We've heard Nick Caserio in the past. It kind of felt like they weren't completely opposed, but when push comes to shove, you see what I did there? They voted against the Tush Push. I really didn't get the credit I deserve for that joke, but that's how it ends up, and the Tush Push lives on.
Well, now you know how it feels. I thought it was intriguing as you look at the list of teams that voted against the ban. You only have two defensive-minded head coaches in here, and that's Mike Vrabel and that's Aaron Glenn. And those guys feel like, in the same vein as D'Amico Ryans, but yet the Houston Texans, they voted to ban it. Those guys are former players. Vrabel's a former linebacker. He's fine with it. Let it keep going. Aaron Glenn, he's fine with it. Let it keep going. But yet D'Amico Ryans, some of the other defensive-minded head coaches, yeah, go ahead and just take this out for us. We're not stopping it, so take it out for us.
And it almost makes me wonder, is D'Amico Ryans not saying what he believes in public? Is Nick Caserio not saying what he believes in public? Do the Texans vote on this as an organization? Could Cal McNair just be following whatever Jerry Jones tells him to do? There's a lot of possibilities, like who gets the vote and who gets the final word and how do they handle this process of voting it. But they voted against it. However, it remains. Doesn't necessarily impact the Texans too much because they don't play the Eagles, and quite frankly, nobody else executes this. There's not another team in the league. I think it's just I think the way that D'Amico and Caserio have spoken on it, I actually think has been kind of how I feel about it. But let's just hear from them before we dive further into this. Let's start hearing from old Nick Caserio. What Nick Caserio has said in the past.
Yeah, I think everybody probably has an opinion on it. I think what I would say, D'Amico and I have talked about this, you don't necessarily want to penalize a team that's done something very well. Like credit to Coach Stoutland and Coach Sirianni that's a play that's been effective for them. They got a good quarterback who's got good lower body strength. I mean, not every quarterback can squat 600, 700 pounds. So the techniques that they utilize. So again, just because you can't stop the play, I mean, is that something that you have to take out of the game? I think we got to be careful about just totally ridding the game of it. I would say, I'm sure the league will talk about player health and safety. Is it put the players at risk? It's a well-executed play by the Eagles, all right? And they've had success doing it. No one's been able to stop it. So, honestly, at some point, the onus is on, figure out a way. And if you can, and the way they implement it, they're one of the few teams, or about the only team that handles it the way that they do. So, the sneak play in and of itself, there's a lot of dynamics that are involved. Some quarterbacks want to be in a fray. Some quarterbacks don't. You look at Buffalo, Josh is 6'5", 250 pounds. So, I mean, he reaches his hand out there. He's got a first down. So every team's got to handle a little bit differently. So I would just say, to penalize a team because they do something well, it's probably something we just need to think about as a league.
Yeah, think about it as a league, and they did. And the Texans, the organization that Nick Caserio represents, did everything that he said. At least it appeared that he did not want to do.
I did not feel like there were read between the line opportunities on the way Nick Caserio thought about it. It felt like his opinion at the combine was, if you don't like it, stop it. It's hard to stop. Tough. I don't think there was a read between the lines there from Caserio. It felt like he came down pretty clear on that.
Well, let's hear. And Primetime says in the chat, shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's hear it. He says, to me, it feels like D'Amico's the type of guy to say, who cares with this? Well, let's hear what he's actually said. He was on record. I think Cody Stutes was a few feet away from him. Mm-hmm. Let's hear what D'Amico Ryans had to say.
To stop. That's Tush Push is very hard to stop. Caserio and the staff there, they've done a really good job of finding a way to gain an advantage, and it's worked really well for them. And it works really well also because of Jalen. I mean, he makes that work. He's such a strong quarterback. He finds the right way to get down and not take a hit. So they've done a really good job with it.
You probably know what the follow-up's going to be.
No, you answer it.
I'll ask it. What do you think you should be banned?
It's a tough play, and it's hard to penalize a team for doing something really well.
Do you ever prepare for that play when you're facing other teams, or is that really an Eagles thing?
It's really been an Eagles thing, for the most part. Playing the Eagles there in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago, prepared for it then, and trying to strategize and find ways to stop. It's hard to say you can stop it, but I think can you stop it 2 times? that's the key. You can maybe stop it once, but stopping it 2 times is definitely hard.
Good Lord. Go back to that guy. What's that guy doing over there?
Which one?
To stop.
The guy that walks in on the back end, man, putting that sack right there on the shoulder. Chill out a little bit there, buddy.
I think that was a commie guy.
Goodness gracious, man.
The commies.
Good Lord.
So when you read
here with the Washington commies, go ahead.
When you read D'Amico Ryan's words, I feel like you could take them a different way than when you see D'Amico Ryans talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't completely come out in favor of it. The quotes kind of represented that he did, but I mean, I think
D'Amico Ryans never said to ban it.
All right, lawyer. All right.
Your Honor, my client never said ban the Tush Push.
No.
My client never said that.
I get what you're saying, but I think he did present the ways why it would be stupid to ban. I think he did a good job of presenting the reasons why it would be stupid to ban. Now, I did not factor in that he might be bitter because he had to face them in the NFC title game. And maybe they were a pain in his ass for that.
Title game, 3rd and goal, they stop them. Not a lot of people stop Philly in the Tush Push. 3rd and goal, they stop.
That's the key.
Yeah, keep going.
3rd and goal, they stop them, and then 4th and goal, Philly does it, and they score a touchdown from the 1 yard line.
This guy, man.
The guy.
I mean, what are you doing, brother? To the side a little bit, man.
There's Aaron's hand in there too, in the video shot.
Hey, bro, what do you think of the Tush Push?
But yeah, look, there's definitely some. I had to deal with this. I'm a defensive coordinator. I got to imagine D'Amico Ryans feels like he's one of the best defensive coordinators, one of the best defensive minds. I stopped it once. I can't stop it 2 times. I can stop it once every now and then. I can't stop it 2 times. But just because that's the way you feel doesn't mean that's the way that the NFL should operate. I'm very much against ban a play. That's awful.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying it. Nobody can execute it. I think it's crazy. I think D'Amico and Caserio are right. I think the Texans vote was on the wrong side of it. On the super chat. You ain't never
Swarm.
Stone alone 5 times. Always swarming. We respect you, my friend.
Stone alone looks like he could maybe run the play. Looks like he works out a little bit.
There you go.
Jalen Hurts numbers, but
HDAV Traveler. He's been known to push some motorcycles. Shout out to him on the chat, aka Austin Jack. Trill Kick X. Can't quit Dame. Draft Woody. Mixon's boot, not a big deal. And we looking at JK. Okay, so he is really throwing us a curveball. So we're going running back here. He's going running back. He's saying he can't quit Dameon Pierce. He wants to keep Dameon Pierce alive.
Okay.
He likes Woody Marks. He thinks it's good. And he thinks Mixon's boot is not a big deal. So he likes the running back room. And he asks about J.K. Dobbins. We'll get into that on the back end. That's a hell of an assist. We'll talk about the running back room. We'll talk about the possibility of bringing someone else in. By the way, we're going to see Joe Mixon. I guess CJ has a football camp. So with Joe Mixon, June 6th-ish. I'm not sure. I don't really go to those things. But maybe we'll get if he's wearing a boot, we'll see if he's wearing a boot.
Well, we should see or not see him at some OTAs before that.
Well, are they voluntary? Don't know.
He was there last year.
Yeah, I know. Well, was that before or after he got extension? Just asking.
Well, he got extended right when he got traded here, so
yeah,
he was paid.
All right, so he's good. All right, we'll see.
Joe Mixon doesn't seem like the type that would bow out of some offseason stuff when there's a new offense to learn.
Nah, he's ready to go.
Is his foot going to be ready to go? We don't know.
It may be a big deal. It may not be. I don't know if you've heard that. Joshua Cleburne says, I think the Texans look at it logically. If they have a chance to get rid of a play that they can't stop or run it, it makes sense to do so, regardless of how they personally feel about the play. Well, that's a hater-ass attitude there, Joshua.
That's a very logical way to look at it.
That's a very hater-ass way to look at it. Respect the game, Joshua. Go ahead.
Could you imagine if they – I'm trying to think of things that are super specific to individual plays or players. Like, could you imagine if they got rid of multiple false counts because Aaron Rodgers got a couple people to jump off sides when he was with the Packers?
His snap count's so quick. Yeah, I mean, that would be –
you have to snap the ball within 3 vocal snap counts. Like, that'd be silly.
They got rid of the push-off with Michael Irvin, or they watched it a little bit. The horse collar tackle, T.O. got horse collared and got hurt that 1 year, so they kind of went into that. But that wasn't like it. That wasn't like
those are league-wide execution things. Like, you can push off.
The Rodgers example is really smart. So he has a really good snap count, and all of a sudden you get rid of it. Yeah, that would be
like you go from Aaron Rodgers makes too many people jump off sides to okay, well, you have to snap the ball after 3 vocal snap counts. Like, that'd be stupid. Like, that's against the spirit of football. And I feel like banning the brotherly shove, the tush push, whatever, that's against the spirit of football too. If you don't like it, figure out a way to stop it. And if it's unstoppable, do it. If it's an unstoppable play, figure out a way to run it and do it. Like, that's my other thing.
I must tend to lean.
The NFL's a copycat league. Copy them. Find a way to copy them.
I must Pandaline has an interesting suggestion. She thinks maybe they should just change the name. She doesn't like the tush push name.
Brotherly shove, I think what Philly people call it. You've got
the SGA flop.
I think the official explanation for it is the player assisted push or something like that.
Tush push is what it is.
Yeah.
Space Age says trying to ban the tush push is the softest move ever. I mean, you can do it too. Too much complaining in this league. Coaches and players stop it or perfect it and do it as well. All this damn crying. That's very hardo of him. David White on the soup. Cody, did you ever get more of the blue Houston football hats?
We'll have some new Houston football stuff as football season gets a little bit closer. So.
Yeah, we'll have T-shirts too. We've given away 50 SNLs, but yeah, we'll figure that out. Mark Castleberry says soft maybe, but as a fan, I find it very unentertaining to watch. I actually think it's entertaining. I think it's a main attraction at this point. I actually think they've done a good job of. Branding it like it's only them. It's like only their move. If it were. I'll be honest. If NFL looked like rugby the whole time and everybody were doing this, it would be cool. But we've seen people have made asses of themselves trying to. I said it looks like a monkey trying to F a football when a lot of these teams try to do the tush push. It's embarrassing. So I actually think it's cool, and it's kind of a Philly thing. And I do wonder,
as soon as it's 3rd and short or 4th and short, you're thinking about it. Like it's I get excited about thinking about if they're going to run it or not. And if other teams could do it, and I understand it's very specific to Philadelphia because they've got a really good offensive line and their quarterback squats 600 pounds. I understand that. But there's got to be a way other teams can figure. Like, if I'm Indianapolis, you know what I'm doing this year? I'm using Tyler Warren for a tush push. Like, He's got quarterback experience. Snap the ball to him. He's 265 pounds. Have Jonathan Taylor push him, and have your own version of the tush push.
Okay, I mean,
Like,
it's easier said than done. The quarterback squatting 600 pounds is probably the best way to establish it, and there aren't any of those. I would say there aren't many. There aren't any. There's one. There's one quarterback in the NFL that can squat 600 plus pounds, and he happens to be the guy that runs this play very effectively.
You think CJ's in the top half of quarterback strength? Like, just like overall workout strength?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I would say probably not. No, I would say, I would say probably not. But yeah, I mean, the tush push, it is what it is at this point, and they just it's going to be a thing, but it's really not a thing like all the time. So we got to watch it.
Right now, it's very specific to Philadelphia. We'll see if somebody can ever try to execute it. Like Buffalo did a bad job of it this past year. Like they tried to do it a couple of times. They did a really bad job of it.
I also wonder, like, from a defensive coordinator standpoint, like D'Amico or whoever, like if it's 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, like Philadelphia knows if they get a 2 or 3 yard gain that they're going to set up the most unstoppable play in the league. So as a defensive coordinator, do you then kind of load up against the run? And then does that open up stuff for Hurts? Like, I just wonder what the hell it's like calling a defense on like second and mid if you know that the tush push is in the bag.
Well, I also wonder too, like from the knowing that it's a threat. Like if you ever show that you could do it well, teams have to plan for it, and then it maybe opens up things for the offense as well. So it's just like it would behoove teams to learn how to run their version of it. Like it would be a smart thing to have in your tool belt, especially. I mean, last year the Texans were awful in short yardage football. They're terrible. Like, so it'd be smart for them, for Nick Caley and the rest of the offensive staff to figure out their own version of the tush push.
Here's another reason why I like the tush push. Trill Kick X says, imagine Cam with the tush push. Yeah, I mean, it would be unstoppable. Like it's if they would have had that, it would have been unstoppable if Cam would have done it. But the thing that I like about it is I think the quarterback sneak is just a lost art. Like I am very pro quarterback sneak. I think the quarterback sneak, if most teams try to do it on 4th and 2, I think most teams would be able to execute it, the ones that actually know how to do it. So I think the quarterback sneak is just not used as often. And it actually kind of drives me nuts that the Texans don't really use it that much. And I don't know if it's an overreaction to the Jets game where CJ got hurt or CJ just doesn't like to do it. But I love a good, solid quarterback sneak. I just think I think when it's executed, it's a beautiful thing. And it's just kind of been one of those, things that has just gone away. So it kind of lives on in a very polarizing way. So I'm glad that the play lives on in some way, shape, or form. Although I do think the days may be numbered because they were only 2 votes away here.
Sure. They're only 2 votes away. And QB sneaks are effective too. Like they have a high success rate. That's another reason why you should be able to do it. And you should have your own version of just a regular QB sneak and that hard to execute tush push.
All right. So
I have some
crazy idea.
I have 3 crazy tush push ideas.
Okay, you're gonna try to get Nick Caley. You're gonna get this is for
I'm helping out.
Calling Nick Caley. Nick. Cody Stutes has 3 tush push ideas for Nick Caley, and we're gonna say whether these are good ideas or bad ideas.
OC consultant Cody Stutes has some tush push ideas. Okay, crazy tush push idea number 1. Just use Davis Mills. Just get him out there. He's got a little bit, more size than a lot of quarterbacks. Just get him out there and use Davis Mills for the tush push. Everybody knows it's coming. This is swapping the QB out. No big deal. Use Davis Mills for the tush push. What do you think about tush push Mills?
When did Davis Mills become Tim Tebow? Like somewhere along the line. I remember when they used him. Remember when they were using him in like Wildcat packages that one game, and like it. When did this happen? When did we start even like imagining this?
Well, here's what I was trying to figure out with players to use for the tush push. You got to be able to handle the football from the center. Well, naturally, Davis Mills can do that. I'm not CJ in this scenario. So if Davis Mills gets hurt, is it really that big of a deal?
Yes.
Like, I'm not risking CJ in the play, so I'll use Davis Mills. That's my first crazy tush push idea, is just use the backup quarterback for the tush push.
Okay.
You seem thumbs down on this.
Yeah. Middle fingers up, thumbs down, whatever, whichever finger you want, pick one.
All right. Idea number 2, crazy idea number 2 for the Texans tush push. Brevin Jordan. 6'4", 230-ish or so pounds. Has a running back background, so it's not totally unfamiliar carrying the football. Bigger guy. You have to teach him how to handle the snap and tuck it and go forward at the same time. But what do you think about Brevin Jordan as the Texans tush push idea?
Feels like he might get hurt, man. Like I don't know that this is a good idea with Brevin Jordan either. I like it better than Mills, but
well, he tore his ACL last year. I mean, that's like
worried about him controlling the snap. Worried about him. So don't know about this one.
This one's tougher because you got to teach him an element of something that he's basically never done. So it's a little bit tougher. Okay. You ready for crazy tush push idea number 3?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
This one, I told you.
I don't know where this is going, but I feel like this is going to be terrible.
I told you they got weirder and weirder as we went along here.
Okay.
Here's what you need out of the tush push. You need a big individual. You need somebody to be able to handle the snap. And hopefully they're strong. I got at least 2 of the 3, and I got to assume this guy's not some weakling. And he used to play quarterback. Titus Howard for the tush push. Line up Titus Howard. Get another big guy behind him. Titus has taken a snap before. You snap the ball to Titus. He barrels forward. He tried to take the ball from CJ and run last year. So
he said he did. He said he didn't, but it was very obvious he did.
He at least thinks he's comfortable with the ball in his hands. So Titus Howard, former quarterback, turned offensive lineman. You got to have a job for him. He can't take it. He's not going to play tackle. He's maybe not going to be a starter at guard. You got to have something for Titus Howard to do. And he played quarterback. So he knows how to take a snap. And he's huge. You think defensive linemen can stop Titus Howard? 6'5".
Yeah. Yes, I do. I see
6'5", 330 pounds.
I see Titus Howard get pushed back by defensive linemen. I've been seeing that for damn near half a decade.
Yeah, but that's when he's got to be on his heels. He gets to really kind of dig in here.
No. Jeez.
I can't believe you're not on board with this.
Dude.
Titus Howard. Tush push Titus. Tush push Titus. Tush push Titus. Tush push Titus.
All right, moving on. So another here on SNL, Landry Locker and Cody Stutes, another rule proposal that I think this one kind of got shut down yesterday. By the way, did you see our girl Diana Rossini, who's all over the Texans? She tweeted that the tush push was going to get banned and then deleted it.
Uh-oh.
And then she said Goodell was getting an extension, and then she said that they're not going to do that today. Diana had a rough day, man.
Uh-oh.
Diana had a rough day.
That's not good.
But they are not reseeding the playoffs. So if the Texans win the AFC South, even if the potential 5 seed, 6 seed, whatever,
It's the 5 seed. Yeah, 4
Yeah,
plus 5.
5 seed. Even if the 5 seed has a better record, they will still be heading to NRG, perhaps Saturday at 3.
Not only is this not happening, it never even got to the vote. Like, it never even got to that point.
Well, they withdrew it. Detroit withdrew it.
Detroit withdrew it. Now, Mike Florio said the other day on Pro Football Talk that the league office really wants this, and the league office asked Detroit to propose it. And so I have to imagine there's at least maybe it's going to just get tabled and refined and brought back up next year. I do believe at some point winning the division is not going to guarantee you a home game. I believe it's going to change in the future.
I think that's going to be tougher. I think the reseeding in the second round just makes sense. Like, and I localized this yesterday, and a lot of people on the night stream kind of agreed. And the way that I explained it was, could you imagine if the Texans got home field advantage and they held off the Chargers and the Chiefs, and they got that first round bye? And then let's say that the Chiefs get upset by the 7-seeded
Broncos.
And then Baltimore gets to face the Broncos instead of the Texans, and the Texans have to face like the 5 seed or a division winner. That's
like Buffalo or something.
Yeah, like that's that to me makes a lot of sense. I just don't know whether they separated it or not. I could kind of see that going on.
I do feel like they could put them in as separate proposals next year and try to push one versus the other, and try to get them in as separate proposals, or perhaps just try to get one of the two in as the reseed. So
Wes says Keontae Hamilton, because he's got his wrestling background, should be the Tush Push guy. Nah, he should be the pusher. He is the pusher.
Yeah. I thought about Keontae Hamilton, but rookie, I don't know if he's for sure going to make the squad. So.
All right. Well, we have a guy on the super chat. You ain't never Swarm, who is basically buying a fifth of vodka for an alcoholic and enabling foolishness.
Tush Push Titus. Tush Push Titus. See, David sees the vision.
That's
Tush Push Titus.
Damn enabler right there, that David White.
I am going to make a wager with you this summer that you have to ask someone. It doesn't matter who. Someone on the Texans about Titus being the Tush Push guy.
No, I'm out of the Titus Howard business, brother. That's he can do his thing. I'm just gonna let him be. I'm gonna hope he has a really good season, or an okay season.
It'd be really good getting first downs. That'd be really good.
HDAV says Titus will be the next refrigerator parody.
I mean, I see the vision. I just don't know why everybody else is not on.
Mini fridge. mini cooler. Really what he is. So that's the idea.
He's like the garage fridge.
So that's the non-traditional way to move the chains. What about the traditional way of moving the chains at running back? We saw someone bring up J.K. Dobbins earlier in the chat. Is J.K. Dobbins an option that you think that they should look at?
Oh, absolutely. He'd be the second best running back on the team behind Joe Mixon. I'd love to see them add J.K. Dobbins. There's no downside. I'm sure there's like a financial commitment to him that, if he doesn't make the team, you got to pay him, but there's no downside to having J.K. Dobbins in this organization and having him for off season and having him for training camp. There's not a downside. You don't have to put a bunch of wear and tear on Joe Mixon in the preseason and practices. Woody Marks does something vastly different than J.K. Dobbins. So it's not like you're like stymieing the development of Woody Marks. Daria Gumbuale does something really different. And if Jawar Jordan and J.J. Taylor were going to be factors, they probably wouldn't have spent a future third-round pick to trade up for Woody Marks. So J.K. Dobbins, nearly 900 yards rushing last year, been around the block. I know that there's the injury history, but in a complement role to Joe Mixon, break glass in case of emergency, you could do a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, and that's their point of view, and we've laid out the point of view of the running back room here and everything that's gone with it. And I think the craziest thing that's gone on, at least in my inbox, is like something being made of like a big endorsement of Dameon Pierce. It's like, have y'all been in a coma the last 2 years? Like there's been a Costco bulk of Dameon Pierce praise, and there hasn't been any production from it. So like, why are we even putting any stock in that? If you believe Dameon Pierce can break out, let's okay. Like then that's a discussion to have. But if you're basing that belief on anything that DeMeco Ryans or Nick Caserio has said, my question is like, I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad you're out of your 2-year coma. What can I do for you? Like, what have you missed out on? Because it's been said for years, this Dameon Pierce thing. So like, I don't put a lot of stock in it. Quite frankly, I'm not buying it. So we've documented that. From J.K. Dobbins' point of view, I don't know how many situations would be better than this one either. He's from around the area. He's only getting a 1-year deal. And I know that sometimes I'll say like, this guy's not getting this, and then he ends up getting a better deal. At this point in the game, like, you got to think J.K. Dobbins is getting a 1-year deal. Now, he might be in a situation where, and this is probably smart, where you kind of sit around, and he knows this very well from the other side. Well, there's some irony here. You sit around and you wait to see if a running back gets hurt in preseason or training camp, and then you find the opportunity. And he's been on the wrong side of that before. But I think if you just look at the current situations, I don't know how many better situations there are for J.K. Dobbins where you're the number 2 to Joe Mixon. Nobody else is really a threat to you. And in worst case scenario is you have to beat out Dameon Pierce and prove yourself there. Look at the other backfields. I don't know that there's, like, from a Texans point of view, we've laid out why it makes sense. But from J.K. Dobbins' point of view, I bet it makes a lot of sense too, unless he just wants to sit around and wait.
If Dobbins is waiting for a starter to go down so he can get starter reps, then the Texans can't help him because, unless Joe Mixon goes down, then you make the call and you get him in here. But it's a really good opportunity for him that, you're on a team where if the guy goes down, like, you're the unquestioned new bell cow. Like, you're going to be the guy that takes 1-for-1 reps for Joe Mixon if Mixon's not available. So I like Dobbins. I like him most of any of the free agents that are available. And, it obviously takes 2 to tango. So if he's wanting something different or he wants to be a starter, I have to imagine there's at least a thought in J.K. Dobbins' mind that he should be a starter right now. And I understand why he would think that.
Well, just where would that happen would be my question.
But he'd have to find the team to let him do that.
Yeah, like where? Traden, come on, this is mean. Pierce got some pictures of Caserio on Bissonette or something.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. Come on, dude. Come on. That's unnecessary. That's Cody's favorite street that you're talking about.
This is not true.
That's Cody's hangout. Don't be bringing Cody's hangout into this conversation. Just to be clear, wanted Dame gone before Akers.
By the way, Cam Akers free agent if you want to go down that road again.
I don't think that was like a bad split, was it? But he was actually kind of upset that he wouldn't get more run. I thought, if you kind of read between the lines, it did seem like Akers was a little bit upset he wasn't getting a little bit more run.
I'd be upset too if I was the best running back option and the team was giving Dare Ogunbowale my snaps.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a tough pill to swallow. Much more tough than Joe Mixon just kind of doing his thing, right?
Like, it's one thing, like, you get into camp when Joe Mixon's hurt, Joe Mixon's healthy, and you're just buried on the depth chart. That's one thing. When Joe Mixon's hurt and Dameon Pierce is hurt, and they're starting Dare Ogunbowale and handing the ball to him 20 times, yeah, I want to get the F out of town.
It's probably a fair a fair thought process. So J.K. Dobbins, sure, why not? From his POV, maybe you just want to sit around and wait, figure some stuff out. We'll see Joe Mixon at his camp. Maybe we'll figure out a little bit of what's going on with him. Will the Texans stop the run even better than last year? That's a question Cody Stutes has presented to you people. And I do mean you people.
I was thinking about this as I was thinking about the Tush Push, and I was thinking about the defensive linemen, and
he was thinking about Tush on Bissonnette.
I was just wondering, okay, well, how good were they at stopping the run last year? Because it didn't feel like there were very many teams that ran at will on them. And they obviously had some moments where they probably wanted a lot of stuff back, but I think they're going to be pretty well equipped to slow down most of the running backs that they're going to see on the schedule, or that they're expected to see on the schedule. They were 11th last year in yards per game allowed on the ground. I could easily see them getting in the top 8. And part of that is they looked good stopping the run at the end of the year when they had Foley Fatukasi and some other guys healthy, further away from time away that they'd had. Plus, I'm not expecting, Mario Edwards in the middle of his second year in this system with this team to have a hiatus in the middle of the year via suspension. I'm not expecting Danico Autry to have a suspension hiatus. So those guys, bring it back Sheldon Rankins. I feel like they're going to be able to stop the run pretty well with the defensive line. We know what Will Anderson brings to the table, but also Christian Harris potentially healthy and CJ Gardner-Johnson. They've just got a lot of athletes beyond those defensive tackles that could really help stop the run, help put teams in weird positions where they have to throw, and they can unleash the hounds of hell that are Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, and let those cornerbacks go to work in Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley. I'm pretty bullish on this defensive line, this front seven being able to stop the run and really putting teams in the situation where the Texans can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in everything on the defense. Like, I believe they're going to do everything better defensively. So you don't really have to sell me too much on what they're going to do defensively and what they're – I think – let me put it this way. I think whatever they – week to week, like a lot of times you kind of say – you roll your eyes a lot of times when it was like week to week with past coaches or whatever. But I think whatever D'Amico Ryans commits to do, I think they're going to be able to do it. Now, there might be some weeks where they're leaning more towards, stopping certain passing threats or something like that, or they're playing more bend, don't break or whatever. But I think if D'Amico Ryans commits to stopping the run, I think he's going to stop the run. I also think that they're going to be coached up to where there's a lot of discipline. There does seem like there's kind of like a science to the way that they want to play defense, specifically on the defensive line. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to bet against them doing anything at a high level on defense. I'm very, very high, very, very giddy on this defense. I don't know that I've been as confident in one side of the ball as I am on this defense heading into next year. It's their superpower. And if it emerges as such, I think it changes a lot of the way that we talk about this squad.
It's gonna make everything just so much easier and so much better for this team if they indeed do have an elite defense, and we expect them to. So I do believe even taking just another step forward to be an elite defense is almost a necessity, and just giving the offense some of those hidden opportunities, obviously via turnovers, just field position and things like that. Starting at midfield with a new offense is going to be, you're going to get some midfield stuff because, you're going to be able to move teams back after the kickoff because this defense is just so damn good. And you're going to get some advantageous field position, making it easier on this offense that has far more questions than the defense.
Yeah. On the super chat, the soup, James R says he has a hot take.
Swarm.
He says, hot take, the Broncos have a better defense. That's not really a hot take. I mean, if we just go off what they did last year, I mean, I think the difference in yards was, I think the Texans averaged like 2 less yards given up, and the Texans allowed 21.9 points, and Denver allowed 18.3, which was third in the league. So no, I mean that's not a hot. We're not. That's hard to combat with that. That's not a hot take at all. They got a good defense too, and they don't really get a lot of credit. Like outside of Surtain, like none of those guys don't really get a lot of credit, and we don't know what his health is going to be. But I mean, if they get Dre Greenlaw right. Then yeah, I would agree with you. They could very well have a good defense. So that's not hot. That's just a very, very strong opinion that, I mean, it's hard to counter, to be honest with you.
I mean, they were the league's leader in sacks last year by defense. So.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're really, 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 really good. It'll be interesting to see what their offense looks like. So, and let's just be honest, they're in a tough division. So those numbers are even more impressive. I mean, they're going against Herbert twice, although we know the Texans shut his ass down. And they got Mahomes twice. So yeah, no doubt about that. Damon says don't sleep on EJ Speed. I think he was a really good addition.
I thought you liked EJ Speed.
I like him as a depth linebacker. I don't like him as like some sort of big like addition. I think Christian Harris coming back and bouncing back is better, but I think EJ Speed's going to play special teams and he's a reserve linebacker. I think he's a good reserve linebacker. He's not a good full-time guy. What is their obsession with Dare and DP? They're so bad.
I don't think Damon was like advocating to start him. Like I think it's like a nice depth player. You had to use some of the depth players.
Maybe I was a little bit harsh. Okay,
I think you were a little harsh.
I shouldn't have chugged the NyQuil after you said don't sleep. I'm sorry, Damon.
Yeah, you were a little harsh.
Big balls on my team. What a name. He says, does D'Amico love Pierce that much to want to keep him?
Maybe. They have so many moments where they just like. I feel like guys get a little bit of extra treatment in a positive way just because like they're a vibes guy. Like it feels like we really like Damian. It's a good vibes guy, you know. Like it's kind of like Jalen Smith. Oh, it felt like he was a Texan before we even drafted him. That was a vibes guy for them.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about Ladarius Henderson? Well, I love Ladarius Henderson. He attacks football with an excitement that's infectious. Okay, vibes guy. Like they love a vibes guy, and Dameon Pierce, vibes guy.
Who are the vibes guys on the Texans? So you have Will Anderson's number one.
Especially like start like breaking them down right before the game. If you ain't Houston, F them, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Will Anderson, vibes guy. Azeez Al-Shire, vibes guy.
Yeah, just ask Jacksonville about that.
Dameon Pierce, vibes guy.
Yep.
Jimmy Ward, vibes guy, at least with D'Amico.
Jimmy Ward is a vibes guy. I like
Jalen Petrie, vibes guy.
Yeah, like in a he does it all like in a Captain America way. Like he does it the right way.
Tim Settle, vibes guy. In a different way, in a much different way.
Tim Settle, vibes guy, he's a unique personality that's necessary for that defensive tackle, bro.
I think those are the main vibes guys.
Well, Jalen Smith got drafted because he's a vibes guy.
Yeah, they got vibes guys in bulk. Do you think that Kamari Lassiter kind of like? You think that Lassiter kind of stays? Because I think there's a couple of. It's going to be interesting to see like the personality development. Because I think Will's been the same guy since he got here. Like it's like really, I guess giddy's the word. Like it's kind of giddy. It's kind of like an innocent vibe, very passionate, teacher's petty. But like it's gotten more confident. Like in 2 years, like he. I don't think in year one he would have come out and said we can't lose to teams like the Jets and Titans. It's gotten like that. Do you think Kamari Lassiter, because I could see just Kamari Lassiter being the same guy throughout, or do you think it kind of gets that way with Kamari Lassiter where he's just a little bit more firm and like direct with the delivery? You think it just stays the same?
Same guy. Not ever, short and sweet to the point when he's talking about the game, and then maniac on the field, the head.
I know.
Yeah, just same guy.
By the way, he's big as fuck right now.
Yeah. I saw somebody
Instagram video. He's wearing, can you say what kind of shirt that is? Or is that banned? We know millennials, right? Can you
I don't know what kind of shirt.
Wife beater top?
Oh, he's wearing a tank top?
Yeah. Oh, so okay. Sorry for offending you. He's wearing a WB. But he's pretty jacked now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's pretty jacked.
What is it about defensive backs putting on weight this offseason? I feel like every defensive back.
You know what it is? It's following the lead of Derek Stingley is what it is. And that's someone who's just about that action, boss. He's been the same guy since he got to the league. That's what it is. It's follow the Derek Stingley / Mr. Stingley workout plan and get your ass in there and lift some weights. That's what it is.
I think I've read about like 10 different defensive backs coming back bigger and stronger.
And Jalen Petrie too. Like, because you're following, if you're a DB and you're following guys like, and this, I think this kind of goes to the offensive line last year and like 5 and all that, whatever, the cohesive unit. But and I know we talk about the Petrie and the value and stuff, but I mean, if you're following his lead, you're there every day, you're working out, and that's pretty much what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson, definitely a vibes guy. So yes, we did.
Yeah, but
we've only seen him once, and it was a little bit crazy.
It seems like he could make it bad vibes pretty quick.
It does seem like the vibe can kind of change if something happens. There does seem to be a little bit of potential if something doesn't go right. And there does seem like there's going to be perhaps some bulletin board material that CJ Gardner-Johnson will present for the opposing team that I don't know that D'Amico and Caserio will love, but we will love, and we will provide it for you right here on SNL.
Yes, absolutely.
On the super chats. This is David.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Between you two, who is the vibes guy?
I don't know.
You
I'm
can
not
be the vibes guy.
Okay.
You want?
I'll be the vibes
You're
guy.
vibes guy. Yeah, you're vibes guy.
I'm the vibes guy in other friend groups that I'm not like that you're not in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not the vibes guy in friend groups that you're in.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the game day vibes guy. Like if you want to get fired up for like a game or something and like have like some stuff going down, I'm the game day vibes guy. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I can definitely be the energy vampire at times, as D'Amico Ryans would say, if I'm being transparent.
I've been an energy vampire before. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's happened for sure.
Everybody can.
We're not like the ultimate positive folk all the time. Trill Kick X says, what new wide receiver do you see CJ clicking with the most? Noel. I think he's gonna like having a slot receiver. Noel or Kirk. I know that's two.
Kirk's my answer.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
So yeah, maybe Christian Kirk or Noel. I think it's going to be one of the slot guys. I think that helps the offensive line too when you have slot guys. So I think it's going to be one of those. I think Higgins is going to make big plays, but I think as far as just being a safety blanket and developing that type of trust, I think the slot is going to be something to keep an eye on. And at Ohio State, he was pretty. I mean, he built some pretty good chemistry with his slot receivers at Ohio State. He really, I mean, like you can only do so much with Robert Woods. Kind of felt like him and Diggs were getting a little bit of a vibe going in the slot. They had a little bit of chemistry. Diggs was starting out pretty good, but I think it's going to be one of the slot guys for sure.
Todd McShay was talking about the CJ Stroud slot usefulness and why he liked the Noel fit so much, and pointed out, some of the numbers, like the slot guys, they got taken care of to a large degree by CJ Stroud. even sometimes having more receptions and targets than some of the elite wide receivers that Ohio State was producing when the slot guys were well taken care of under C.J. Stroud's time as quarterback at Ohio State. So it does feel like something that if C.J. Stroud can unlock that, being on the same page with Kirk and Noel, I mean, that's a great way to kind of get the floor of this offense a lot higher than it was last year.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm very happy that they ended up with multiple slot receivers. I think that's a good thing that they can perhaps counter any potential suspect offensive line play that we may be anticipating.
And it doesn't matter which history you want to draw on, Nick Haley knows how important it is to have good slot wide receivers. It doesn't matter if you draw on his Patriots history or his Rams history. So I'm intrigued to see if they give Jaden Higgins some opportunities in the slot too, just to create a unique look against some slower players. And they've got a lot of mix and matching they could do with this wide receiver group.
I think we're immediately going to kind of notice this is not a promise, but this is just like a observation that we won't know till we see what goes down in camp. But I think we're going to notice how bad of a comparison it is to compare Higgins to Nico Collins right off the top. I think they're going to be able to complement each other a lot more than they're getting credit for. And I think even if he did play like Nico Collins, I think that they would still be able to complement, like if the offensive coordinator is competent. But I think it's going to be a lot more Drake London type of vibe from Higgins than Nico Collins.
Well, you're putting Higgins in a super successful situation, getting to play opposite Nico Collins, because you're going to have a lot of focus on Nico Collins. You're going to have guys that are going to play off of Jaden Higgins, and he's going to go take advantage of them.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be real interesting to see what goes down there. On the super chat, Joshua says, y'all think CJ uses his legs more this year? We've been saying that for a while.
It feels like he said as much at the end of the year too. So I would anticipate.
But he's been saying that for a while. We were saying that when he was coming into the league.
Yeah, I feel like he's actually going to like prepare for it and do it and have it. Like I don't think it's going to be like a, play action where he tucks it and runs with it, like a read option or something like that. But scrambling, getting away from it. I mean, him extending a play and running around in the Chargers game kind of felt like it put him back in almost 2023 mode. So,
he did it against the Jets too.
Yeah,
he definitely did it against the Jets too. Joshua says, or James says, here's to Noel ending up like St. Brown.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, that'd be nice. Is he going to keep a list of all the wide receivers drafted in front of him like Amon-Ra St. Brown does?
Yeah, we brought that up yesterday. We brought up the list, and Nico doesn't look as bad. He's kind of off the hook. Like you hear the first few, and it's like, okay. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. You hear some of like the good ones, and then there's like, oh God, that was terrible. Kadarius Toney, yuck. Like there's a lot of those. But then Nico doesn't seem as bad, but it would be funny if they ended up getting someone like a St. Brown. But that's a lot. That's one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Was that Rashad Bateman? Good God.
Yep.
Rondale Moore.
There's a video of him breaking like every single one down.
Oh, I saw an interview with him from 2 weeks ago. He can still name the whole list. It's a little bit harder for him, but he can still name the whole list.
Yep. 100,000%.
I gotta hold on. Who's the most egregious one? Like, just I'm looking at the wide receivers that year.
Kadarius Toney, I guess.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney did not make any sense at all. That was That was what? That was the first year the Giants traded back, right?
Yep.
Under Gettleman.
Yep.
Dwayne Eskridge.
I don't even know who that is.
Any idea what he's doing these days?
No, I remember Dwayne Goodrich.
He
went to jail.
Eskridge is he was the kick returner for the Dolphins last year. Terrace Marshall was very disappointing. He was supposed to be better than he was. He was very good at LSU.
Yeah, but St. Brown, still the best of the best.
Anthony Schwartz. Who the hell is that? I've never heard of this guy.
No idea. Don't know a lot of these guys.
Never heard of it. Well, I understand Amon-Ra St. Brown's disappointment.
Yeah, well, maybe it's made him the guy he is today. If you haven't heard,
Well, his dad
1 or 500 times, Tom Brady was pick number 199.
Good job for Amon-Ra St. Brown not letting that break him.
All
Turning
right,
into a
so
warrior.
the Tush Push lives on for now. Texans voted against it, despite what they had previously said, and the reseeding not going to impact the Texans. Cody has some of the worst ideas ever for potential Tush pushes.
I didn't
there's a lot
again
of other foolishness that went on.
Again, critical of my ideas. No solutions from the locker side of it.
No, just
No
keep
solution.
doing as you're doing. Keep doing as you're doing.
Why don't you do some homework and come up with a Tush Push idea of your own?
Just learn to execute a basic QB sneak. That's my Tush Push idea.
I'm fine with that.
Let's get that. Just vibes, as Patrick says. Appreciate everyone for coming through.
Landry's new motto: no solutions, just vibes. I like that.
Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.